Okay, now, one of the things I wanted to ask you, were you shooting chunk at the farm before here, or was it here first? Because I think 1978 is when it started here.
I think we shot some on the farm before we did it here.
And that was on the the old range, right? Not the one you're on now.
A different, yeah.
Was that the one with the big oak tree?
Yeah, big maple, yeah.
Okay, and they had the old farmhouse there, or was that the second range?
The old farmhouse fell down, barn's gone, and the big oak tree that stood there along the driveway is gone too.
Now, excuse me. From what I could gather, we started here in 1978 with the Bill Large match, and that was on the primitive range, because basically you didn't have any place over here for it.
Yeah.
You were on the primitive council at that time, weren't you?
I think so.
And that's probably how it ended up there. So 78, maybe a little bit before at your place. Where did you first get the whole idea? Had you been talking to Newt Williams, or?
Well, Newt and I had been friends for years, and when we started shooting old log, why, he helped as much as,
Had he already written his little book by then?
Huh?
Had he written his little book at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, X Centers.
No, he hadn't written it yet.
Okay, that was X Centers in the Wabash Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, here at this range, we know it was up there first. Can you remember about when they finally gave you a range over here?
Well, I don't know what year.
Was it before the anniversary?
Bill Large shot over there, and we
Yeah.
all shot that big old Hannah gun that he had. And that was during the anniversary.
Yeah, so maybe the chunk gun range came around shortly after that or during that period. Because I remember they've sunk posts in the ground, 2 before across them and a plank on top, and that's where you loaded under those sycamore trees down there. Because I got pictures of some of you guys down there, Paul, Walter, and Ron Boron and all of them. And then from there, they just kept moving you down to where it is now.
Yeah, we had a nice little range there with some little sycamore trees.
Yeah.
And had a nice range, but they decided they'd move us on down. And,
Then when they start putting in the silhouettes and stuff
and
like
all
that.
stuff.
So we can't go any farther west because we'd have to buy the church and
Right, have to buy the
half the town. Now, this is what because that's about the time I got in, but what I remember, you, Don Sherman, I think Walt Spellman shot, didn't he?
Yeah.
And let's see, Walter Knopple,
Bill Burt.
Billy Burt, Billy Burt, and Ron Boron, I'm sure, came along, if not then, shortly. I don't know, Merrill never shot the chunk, did he?
No.
That's what I figured. He was a Buffalo man, I think. Now.
He supported us, though, I mean.
Well, yeah, very well. Now, from there, I'm gonna jump to Paul Maul. How did that whole thing start? Now, I know I've heard a story. You gave a talk somewhere and it involved Mel Hankla. So tell me how that whole thing happened.
Well, shoot was over that day. And I told Mel, we were sitting up there just visiting after the shoot. I told him, and we was pretty far down into a bottle of scotch.
And you can say whatever you want.
Anyway, I told Mel Hankler, he was living at Jamestown, Kentucky. I told him, I said, we need to have a shoot down around Paul Maul, Tennessee. And he took right a hold of it, went down there and talked to Alvin York's boys and his grandsons and got it all set up. I don't remember what year it was.
93 is first year.
Huh?
93 was the first year.
That was the first one.
Yep. But wasn't there something said about you ain't got a hair on your ass if you don't put a shoot on down at Jimtown?
I don't remember that. Sounds like something Bill Burke might have said.
So, okay, now in that, I know you were part of that original group. Mel, Billy Burt, Ron Boron,
Walter Kniff.
Walter. I guess that was probably the core of it. And then, from what I remember, I've seen the videos from there that Jim Hash made. He videotaped 93, 94, or no, he had 94, 95, 96, 97. He didn't get the first year. But, so those are the guys I seen there working and stuff. And that, of course, it immediately just surpassed what anybody ever thought it could possibly do. So that was, okay, so that's, yeah, because they had I guess it was the 30th anniversary a few years ago. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Tom Cooley and Bob
Butcher,
and they drove Model A's down and, of course, broke down once they got there. And of course, it's taken off to where it is now, which is pretty big.
we took 150 shooters to the line that first year.
It's got as high in the years past up around 180, hadn't it? That's when they went to two relays. Yeah. Now, because that gets me up to what I really wanted to get you talking about. I think I know, you tell me if I'm right. You guys always kind of seen it as like the pictures in Jerry Noble's book or Walter Klein's book. And there would be Daddy Kress and Gilbert Angel and Daddy Moore and those guys. And it was a man, his bag, his horn, and a big rifle.
That's right.
And that was it. They were going to go shooting. Today, you need a 3/4 ton truck and maybe a trailer to go to a chunk shoot. How do you feel about that? Is it just there's nothing you do about it? It's just a natural progression, or would you like to see it be simpler like it used to be?
Well, I don't know.
Because anytime a man's involved in something, it becomes a race. It immediately becomes a hot rod race.
Right. We had. I didn't understand what you asked me there to start. What did you ask me about?
Well, I'm asking, do you like it that now we've got the 50-pound or 30 and 50-pound guns and all the equipment and the tables and the stools and all that? Or do you wish it was like the old days where, like it was up here,
Like,
you walked up there with a bag, a horn, and a gun?
that's right.
Yeah. Because, and there's a club somewhere in the association that's starting to do those. They have far enough away you can't drive. They won't let you drive in and unload your gear. So that you can take anything you want to take, but you got to pack at one time. And they're starting to get back to some of that where it's just a man, a bag, a horn, a gun.
I like that.
Well, and I remember a picture of you I found. You were walking across that branch, down the branch up there behind the water fountain. And that's all you had. You had your rifle, And then the rifles were long, but they weren't overly heavy.
No.
And then you had your bag and your horn, and you were carrying your target. That was it. And I guess we need both of them, maybe. But honestly, the scores are a lot better today than they were 50 years ago. Some of the targets that Newt put in that book of his were amazing.
Yes.
For what they had to work with back then. So they had good guns. I don't care how crude they were good guns. But I've always kind of felt that was your feelings, that you wish it was like the old days.
I wish it was like the old days. We have talked about doing that there at home.
Mm-hmm. Just make them park up the barnyard. And
one time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take everything with you. Like I said, a bag and a horn.
Yeah.
John Braxton, North Carolina, he used to have his own target made up. He carried it in the bag. It was in the bag when he went up there.
Kind of like the old days when Alvin York shot and everything, you carried a little, what do they call that, a bud. It was called a bud. It was a little, actually we have those targets over there. They've discontinued them, but we still got a bunch of them. The white paper with the black V in it. So, yeah, we've even talked about that at our place, maybe something like that, because what it does, I feel, it lets young guys and new guys get involved that may not have all the money to go out and buy a $500 barrel and all the accoutrements and everything to do that. And he's basically shooting it with his offhand rifle. I know some of the early guns were long.
Yeah.
But they weren't overly heavy.
Mine's 54 inches.
What's it weigh? Did you ever weigh it?
I don't know. Never weighed it.
Well, I mean, probably
it's not uncomfortable to carry.
I bet it's under 20 pounds.
Oh, it's under 20 pounds.
Yeah. But that was the one thing I always kind of, I know I've talked to you enough and seen you around enough. I always felt like Alan kind of like the old days before we got too high tech with it. That'll never go away. It's here to stay. But maybe we can add to it. And
Don Sherman was a great shot. He was a good shot. And he was the one that got to having the big pieces of paper and all that stuff. And it's not that I disagree with having that, but it's just not the same.
It's not old-timey.
It's not old-timey. And Gilbert Angel and Daddy Chris and those guys,
they could shoot with any of us today if they were here.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
we'd have to watch ourselves. Well, we're probably going to get beat. But
I asked Bill Large one time. These guys got to come in with these great big heavy guns. Well, the Trammell boys had a
60-pounder.
Yeah. And I asked Bill Large, I said, these guys talking about us putting a weight limit on them. He said the weight limit will take care of itself.
They didn't keep that 60.
They only participated in very few matches. And back then we were shooting 15 shots.
Yeah.
That is, and they're over the log matches. And then we all got older and we decided we'd go to 10.
Well, Dave Crumey has that gun.
He does?
Yeah. After Roger died, his son got with Tommy Swigert and then Tom helped him sell all those guns. And Dave Crumey ended up with the heavy one because he said I had to have it. But Bill was right. I mean, myself, I've got Page Carr's old gun.
Page Carr's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a 32-pounder. And by golly, at 72 years of age, that thing will wear you down. So I get that. I understand that. I've already gone to a lighter gun now too. So
When we used to shoot 15 shots, there at home and over at the other big tree, we'd shoot 2 days. And you wrestle them around for 2 days. And you wouldn't be as tired if you'd have been on a wagon loading bales for 2 days.
well, that's right. They weighed more than a bale.
It would been all, you'd be wore plumb out. Monday, you didn't want to do anything. And of course, we was younger and tougher and everything then, but anymore, you shoot 10 shots, by golly. Well, I'm 85 years old, and when you get, you shooting a match for 10 shots, you've had enough.
Well, even here, all we shot were 3-shot matches until they put the AWCoon Super Chunk in. And there's probably a lot of guys that had come down and maybe hadn't shot 10-shot matches before. And you can see it. Now, if you go to the York or you go to your hog shoot or something like that, you're going to shoot 10 shots. But we didn't shoot 10 shots here until they put that match in. So
10 shots, 60 yards down, 60 yards back.
that's 1,200 yards.
That's 1,200 yards that time you shoot 10 matches. And that's enough.
It's more than enough. And every time we've been to your place, sometimes the weather's good, sometimes it's not so good. But you're just tuckered out. By the time you get home, you want to put your gear away, take a shower, and take a nap.
We'll clean it tomorrow.
Yeah. Clean it tomorrow. We know that with a good steel today, it ain't going to hurt to sit just a little bit.
Crummy went to that match up in Pennsylvania last year and won it. He's not getting to go this year, some interference, but he went up there and shot it and won it. And it is more or less like what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Now they do load off the table and stuff like that, but
well, for safety reasons, you probably need a place to rest the gun while you load it and everything. You know, like out in Missouri, they have that plank shoot, which kind of like chunk, but you're not shooting prone. You're shooting off a plank on your knees or whatever. To me, that would be kind of like an early table shoot kind of a thing. But I've been contacted from guys in Florida and places that, God, I wish we had chunk gun shooting down here. And I say, well, start it. Get some friends together and go out on somebody's farm and do it. Nobody, I know, especially you, nobody wants to see chunk ever go away. To me, it's the most American shooting sport.
it is.
I mean, you can go back and talk about Canal Fulton and the bench guns and everything, but man, chunk gun shooting was going on down in the mountains forever. And that's where, I guess, you tell me this, that's where that was kind of where it was saved. In other words, they were doing it and then we brought it up here out of there, or was that area around Terre Haute and down there that Newt wrote about, was that always a hot spot?
I think so.
And I always figured that was because there were a lot of mountain immigrants down in that part of the world, and they brought it with them. But I know it's been fun for you. It's been fun for me. Thursday morning we'll hit it again over here and see what we can do with it. But it's picking up. We've got in our club over at North Vernon, there's about 6 or 7 of us now shooting
Overall,
regular chunk guns, yeah. And because you're always looking for a new game, and we kind of like that. And our high point of the year starts out going to your house for the hog shoot. Then 2 weeks later, we go to the York, and then we don't get to shoot again until we come up here, and we're going to try to start having them over to our club.
Colton Fleetwood is
He puts that one on. Yeah.
putting that one on over there at.
And that's probably a little closer to the way you like it, because it's a 14-pound limit. And you can bring tables and stuff in, but most guys load on the back of their pickup truck and flop down on the ground and shoot 60 yards.
We had talked about having one there at home. You load out of a bag and a horn.
You got your tables already down there; they can use those. Yeah.
You load from a bag and a horn.
It'd be fun. I think you'd get people to go for it. It's just one more day of shooting, and I got a feeling you'll learn more that day there than you'll learn over here on toting a heavy gun around and everything, because you're getting down to the basics now. How good a shot are you? How can you hold? Because recoil is very important. How you handle recoil. If you got a 30-pound gun, recoil's nothing. You got a 12-pound gun, recoil's everything. So yeah, I think guys would enjoy that. So I guess I always see you at the York, obviously. You always register. You don't get down on the mat anymore, though, do you?
Do what?
You don't get down on the ground anymore, do you? It's hard. Yeah, Billy, the videos were really fun. You guys are in the old farmhouse. You're sitting in a chair. What was Dave Wright's wife's name? Mary? Jane. There was Dave playing upright bass, Mel playing fiddle, Paul Griffith playing the hammer dulcimer. I asked somebody, I said, I didn't know Paul played hammer dulcimer. I said, well, he thought he'd like to learn to play one, so he just made one and started playing it. And then, what's the guy's name playing guitar and banjo? Harrison. Houston Harrison, yeah. And then Billy Burt kind of came and went, and that was a lot of fun. And we looked at that and seen you guys handing out the prizes and stuff. And I'm glad Jim Hash did that, so at least we got a little. I've posted it on the internet. Anybody can watch it. It's there for anybody.
Houston Harrison and I, we were down there in the Paul Maul one year. He said, Alan, come here. He reached in his pocket and pulled out this Kentucky pistol. And on the back of in the little silver thing in the grip, it said A. Jackson. And he had it to restore for a fella.
Where'd he find it?
Oh, I asked him.
He wouldn't talk.
He couldn't. I mean, he would have been.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have told me, and I shouldn't even have asked him. I did it without thinking. But it said A. Jackson.
I'm going to end this by you telling a story that you told me a long time ago, and I want everybody to know this story. You were talking to Merrill Deer. And I think it was Merrill, and you made comment to Merrill that you never quite knew when to approach a widow about her husband's guns.
About what?
Her husband's guns. You told Merrill, so I know.
Yeah.
What did Merrill tell you?
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. A fella from over in Ohio, name was... He was a big collector. He would collect them forever, and he handled a lot of stuff over the years. And I didn't pass, but I missed out on a pair of straw handle duelers, cased duelers in a not more than about 6, 7 miles from my home. And anytime I had a little money, I didn't think about it. And anytime I did think about it, I didn't know whether I could afford it or not, you know. And I was telling this feller about missing out on these duelers. He said, Alan, in this game you have to be tough. And I made another comment. I said, well, I never was much on buying family heirlooms. He was. But he said, in this game you have to be tough. You must approach the widow at the graveside, because if you don't, some of the SOB will have them bucked before she gets back to the car.
And I have thought about that over the years, and I thought I wasn't quick enough. I mean, I find out later they sold them to a gun shop or a pawn shop or something like that, you know. And I started remembering you telling that story, and I thought, you got to be tough. You just got to be tough. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Approach the widow at the graveside.
I think he even said, have your arm around her on the way back to the hearse.
Yeah, on the way back to the car. Yeah, while you're counting down $100 bills. Yeah. And that guy's name was, you'd know him. He used to camp right down here on the curve.
I bet Chuck Oder knew him.
Huh?
I bet Chuck Oder knew him.
Yeah, Chuck would know him.
Yeah.
He shot with him.
Yeah.
Because he used to shoot a lot off Van Flintlock. And I think about that every once in a while. And somebody will bring it up, you know, about approaching the widow at the graveside. And
Well, you got to be ruthless. That's all there is to it.
And I told that to a guy one day, and he knew who I was talking about. Why can't I think of his name? He said, I can't. I said, who would have said that, you know? He said, hell, he wrote the book.
Yeah. Well, I've known you
John Anzapaw.
Yes.
Yeah, John's the one that told me
John
that.
Anzapaw, yeah.
And he said he wrote the book.
I guess I've known you now better than 40 years. And we've lost some dear friends. Chuck.
We've seen a lot of people come and go, haven't we?
Yeah. Some of them we was kind of glad when they went. But
yeah, some of them we were glad to get rid of. But for the most part.
Wonderful people.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. I miss Chuck Oder every day. And he's not the only one. There's been many of them. I always gravitated toward older people, so I'm usually the young one in the bunch, so to speak. But yeah, I miss him. I miss Chuck a lot. And
Yeah.
Max Egoff.
Yeah.
Man, I've got Max's chunk gun.
You chunk gun?
You know, he had Alan. Max would go around the gun shows and scab up parts. Well, he took all these parts to Alan Hunter and wanted Alan to build him a log gun. Now, it was nice. He came to your shoot, not the hog shoot, but one of the summer shoots. He drove 4 hours from Warsaw. He got down there and we started doing our sighting shots. And Max had called me and asked me questions, and we started doing our sighting shots. And I said, Max, you going to take sighting shots? And he said, no, I think I'll just go into it cold. And I said, Max, it really don't work that way. So he didn't. First relay, we post our targets. Max gets down on the mat, which for Max, that was tough. He fired one shot. The clouds opened up, and we all threw our stuff in the trucks. We ran up to the house, and we sat around a little bit, and Julia had come out and said, why don't we go ahead and eat? Leonard was there and said, we'll go ahead and eat, and then after we eat, maybe it'll quit raining and we can finish. Well, it never did. It never quit. So Leonard just come out and gave us all of our entry money back. And I asked Max, I said, what are you going to do now, Max? He said, well, I guess I'm going to go home. And he did. When Max was sick at the end, Mike Yazel called me. He said, Max is wanting me to help him sell some of his guns. And I'm bringing some to Friendship. Will you help me find a buyer for it? So, some of them were primitive guns. Some were guns I built, Max. And I seen that log gun. I said, what do they want for that, Mike? He told me, and I said, so, I've got it. It's a left-hand gun, but the gun don't care. I'll shoot it tomorrow in the Bill Large. But I love having something of Max's. I've got Paige Carr's gun, which is one New York. I mean, it's got papers, But, and I told somebody, I don't buy the guns because of the gun. I buy the guns because of the people. And
that's right.
I was actually able this past week, Chuck Oder built a Northwest trade gun for Max Egoff, left-handed, of course. Years later, Max traded that to Mike Money from Mike's left-handed 54 caliber flintlock. Well, Mike then had that gun for a number of years. Of course, Mike died. At the day of his funeral, I remembered what you said about that, and I told his son, we were sitting at the house, because, Mike was my brother-in-law. We were at the house for the funeral meal. And I said, Brian, I don't know what your mom's plans are, or your plans, or anybody's plans. I'm just telling you, you do not sell that gun until you've called me. And he said, well, okay. That's 13 years ago. I got that gun bought last week. And that'll never leave my house. I'll be dead, and my grandson will have it then.
Right.
So, I buy guns not for the gun, but for who owned it. And to me, I can look at that, and I remember Mike, I remember Max, and I remember Oder. And same with Max's log gun and Paige Carr. Now, Paige is still with us, of course. But that's what I enjoy doing, just that right there.
I'm kind of the same way.
There's just they have a story. They're almost like they're humans. They have a story to tell, and you just got to listen.
I buy horns. And when I buy a horn, I think about, where this horn's been.
What it's seen.
What it's seen.
Yeah, that's fun.
And I've only bought 2 high-dollar horns. He was that guy. He makes lots of horns. He makes 1812, a lot of 1812 stuff, and he's from Pennsylvania, but I think he's moved to Georgia now. And what the heck, I'm terrible about names.
But if he walked in the door, you'd know him. So.
But anyway, I think about him, but I bought them 2 horns because I knew the guy that had them. Come out of his collection. His name was Bert Hamrick. Did you ever know Bert?
No.
He was a big time collector at one time. And he died, he passed away. and his son had them horns down at Mel's show down on Lake Cumberland last year. And he had them laid back, kind of. Didn't really have them out exposed, really. And I kept looking at him. I looked at both of them. And I said, how much would you take for both of them? And I bought them.
Was Julia with you?
No, she wasn't with me. And you know, I bet it took 3 months for that. I told him, I said,
Oh, he just sat on the check?
huh?
He didn't cash the check, right?
I reckon not. 'Cause my wife, every time our checks come, Miss Julia goes through them.
Yeah.
And then brings my checkbook up to date and everything, and make sure I haven't missed numbered anything,
Yeah.
you know, like. And, but it's but anyway, she didn't say anything, but.
Well, wasn't no point in it. Wasn't no point in saying anything. You already had them. All right, well, I'm going to let you go, buddy.